What's up, y'all? BK back here with Cliff Pickleball. Now, we heard you in the comments about having some audio issues, so I got a new mic. Hopefully this works better. Put down in the comments whether the audio is better now, and hopefully you like this video. So for today's video, I wanted to cover a topic that's really important in pickleball. Now, whether you're a beginner or an advanced player, this is something that you must avoid doing at all costs. The difference between the pros and the amateurs, to me, is this particular thing that we're gonna talk about. Pros don't make any simple mistakes on court. When I watch them play, they're always in control, and they always know where to be, when to be, and how to hit a certain shot without making a mistake. So today, we're gonna talk about the top 3 unforced errors that players make and how to avoid them. So the number 1 shot, in my opinion, that you should never be missing is the put away. If you get an overhead or a ball that you should be easily putting away, and you're hitting that ball into the net or hitting that ball out, you're just letting your opponents off the hook, and now they just get an easy point for a mistake that they made. So this is how you avoid making the overhead mistake and stop making this unforced error. So the main reason most people make a mistake on those overheads and their putaways is they're a little too aggressive and impatient. When you see that ball coming up, it's easy to get excited knowing that you have an easy shot to just put that ball away. However, if you try to be too aggressive and really go for too much power, now you're losing control over the shot. And anytime you're losing control over the shot, you're gonna be prone to making a mistake. So really what you wanna do is keep your composure. It's essential that once you see that ball coming up, you know that you're gonna have an easy shot. So keep your composure, keep calm, focus on it like any other shot. Just set your feet up, watch for the ball, and make sure you know exactly where you're gonna put that ball. So as soon as it comes into your contact point, you're just gonna nice and easy put that ball away without swinging too hard and losing control over your body. Angles over power is my mantra. In pickleball, angles always dominate over power. So if you can simply use your putaways to just get the right angle, you don't need to be as aggressive as you are, and you'll be less prone to making mistakes. Now, the second most common mistake that I see is when you have both of your opponents at the baseline, or even just one opponent at the baseline, and you're at the kitchen line just trying to keep them back. What you're trying to do is just take those balls out of the air and just keep your opponents back, because as long as they're at the baseline and you're at the kitchen line, you're gonna be in the best possible position to win that point. So what you need to do is avoid hitting that ball into the net or hitting it out. This is where I see a lot of mistakes being made. Players will overreach for the ball and really hit that ball into the net, or try to go too deep in the back of the court to keep their opponents deep, and then they end up hitting the ball out. So what you want to do to avoid this mistake is you really want to concentrate on simply using your topspin and your rolls and give yourself that margin of error. What margin of error means is not going too close to the net or too close to the baseline, where you have some feet of distance between your target and your opponents, where you're able to place the shot, so even if you miss by a little bit, the ball ends up landing in. So what you want to do is when you see that ball coming to you and your opponent is deep, try to hit that ball about 2 to 3 feet over the net, right? Giving yourself that height over the net means that even if you hit the ball low, that ball is still gonna get over the net, and you're not gonna make that simple mistake of simply putting the ball into your net and letting your opponents off the hook. The next thing you want to do is when you're watching for that baseline, try to hit that ball about 3 to 4 feet inside the court. So aim about 3/4 of the court in rather than aiming for the baseline. If you can just use your topspin, even if you do put that ball a little bit short, the topspin is going to take that ball deeper, and that's going to keep your opponents back. So your end goal is still the same. Keep your opponents back, but give yourself that margin of error so you're not making that unforced error. Now, the third most common unforced error that I see is when people are dinking and they try to take too many balls out of the air. Now, it's a really big misconception that taking the balls out of the air whenever possible is really important for dinking. This is not the case. What you want to do when you're dinking is just stay in control of the point. If you're overreaching, trying to simply take that ball out of the air, and you're not in control of your body or the paddle, now you're more prone to popping that ball up or putting it into the net, which gives your opponent an easy put away if you do pop that ball up, and now it didn't matter that you took the ball out of the air, you're disadvantaging yourself. So what you want to do is be patient at the kitchen. If you see the ball is really close to the net, give yourself time, step away from the ball, let it bounce and get to the top of its bounce so that you have an easy dink. Remain patient at the kitchen. The kitchen is where you're going to have complete control over the ball and the game if you simply allow yourself the time to properly control your dink. If you're going to be too aggressive trying to take balls out of the air and you make mistakes at the kitchen line, now your opponents are going to target that area, and all those pop-ups are just going to lose you points. So again, remain patient, set your feet. If you don't think you're going to reach that ball at a level that you're able to control your paddle, give yourself the time to allow that ball to bounce, come up to the top of its bounce, so that you'll have a much easier dink and now you have a reset ball where you can come in and take control of the court. I hope you enjoyed that video and really took away how not to make unforced errors on the court. This is such a big part of the game, so again, you have to practice it and you have to practice it again. So make sure you're not making any unforced errors, don't let your opponents off the hook, and really dominate the pickleball court. I've been BK, and you can follow me at BK_pickleball on Instagram and YouTube, and also make sure to subscribe to Cliff Pickleball below. Until then, I'll see you next time.